outside.
Do you know what Eric did in Iraq? What his role was there?
I believe he's an infantryman. I know he oversaw the capture and interrogation of some high value targets.
Oh, cool.
Or something
So, like,
to that
torturing.
regard. That was handed over to Iraqis.
The torturing.
Yeah,
I bet they're pretty good at it.
from what I hear.
How do you guys feel about torture?
You know,
I don't like it.
I don't like it. I'm going to say 2 thumbs down to torture.
It hurts.
I would describe it as...
Oh, we're talking about torture on the whole or being tortured?
Torture as a use of as a government policy.
To extract. Well, look, I know a lot about, we'll just call him an agent of the government who's been in a lot of sticky situations. All right. He's dealt with big threats, conspiracies, and I'll just say his name, Jack Bauer.
Okay.
Oh.
Sure. Sure. So you know him.
Agent Power.
I'm very familiar with him. I'm all of his work. And look, I've seen him go to work on one of these jihadis before with a power drill. And
Kiefer fucked him up.
Kiefer will get that information out of you. All right.
He only had 24 hours. He was in a hurry.
He only had 24 hours. That's efficiency right there. Had a schedule under budget. He'd be a Trump man full and through.
I'm mixed on it. I really find it difficult. If what they say is true and that information extracted through torture is not useful, then it's terrible. And by the way, when we torture, it opens up fair play to us getting tortured, right? You know, we can't say treat our people nicely, give them 3 squares in an air-conditioned room if we're going to torture your people, right? That we have no grounds for that. So there's a lot of arguments you can make against it. On the other hand, if it does prevent a 9/11, then that's important too. It just does it. Can it?
I thought that they said that when they waterboarded a lot of valuable intel out of Zarqawi, the guy
Something
that they
like
showed
that.
with the
Enough for
beard
sure.
and his whitey tighties on the internet. That poor fella. They waterboarded him like 30 or 40 fucking times or something like that. I don't know. I don't know if it works or not. You always see people, whenever I'm reading about it or watching something about it, they say, nope, doesn't work.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
I always
But
hear
I'm thinking like, it work on me.
what if you didn't know? It'd still work on you.
It might, yeah. That's why they like if the 3 of us were together and we need something, they'd separate us and torture us separately. And if the stories don't match up, then
More
maybe they
torture.
know- more torture.
And I'm told that it works against a lot of regular people. Against religious people, their level of conviction is harder to turn around.
Perhaps
That would make sense. Harder to crack that egg.
Yeah, they're completely brainwashed. Probably gullible and old.
Or gullible and young.
Yeah, it's an age-related.
Do what you want with me. I sent $100 to Kenneth Copeland last night.
You go ahead and use your water magic on me. I already been blessed by the hands of the... I'm so sorry. Get it to help me.
Is that how his hands got wet?
Yeah.
I don't think George Bush would have lied to us.
No,
Let me tell everybody about
one time he lied.
ExpressVPN. Yeah, I don't know if torture works or not. They say it doesn't, but common sense would tell me it would.
Right? I'm very torn on it.
I always told my friends and I would talk about this, and I'd be like, that scene in the movies where he's got all the torture implements like rolled up in a cloth, and he like displays them on the table, like he unrolls that cloth, and inside are like pockets with like, corkscrews and syringes and scalpels. I'm like, he don't even have to unroll that thing. When I see him get that out, and he's like, well, Mr. Myers, it's hey, no need to unravel that. I know where this is headed. All right, look, Woody's house. Here's what you need to know.
Like, no, these are my woodworking chisels. I'm very proud of them. I want to unroll this. It's part of the thing.
Remember that scene in maybe you didn't see it in Boardwalk Empire where the KKK hangs a black guy. Or maybe 2 or 3. They're terrorizing the black people. And the character who plays Omar in The Wire, he's a central figure in there. and they capture the KKK Grand Wizard, and they've got him tied to a chair. And Omar tells him this story about how his daddy was a carpenter and how he was the best carpenter in the whole county. And the rich white man came and had him build a schiffer robe or something, no, it was a whole room. He had him like carve this whole room up, the walls and the molding, and how beautiful it was. And then he told his daddy he was only going to pay him 1/10 of what he'd originally promised. And when he argued, they hung him. They hung his daddy.
Mm.
Then on the table he unrolls that one of those cloths, and he goes, "These was my daddy's tools." And it's wood chisels and all sorts of stuff like you're describing. And the guy goes, "What are you gonna do with them?" He walks out of the room later, and the guy's like, "Did he know anything?" He goes, "Nah." And he hands him a cloth, and the guy looks in the cloth, and it's the guy's finger with the KKK ring on it. And he's like, "Nah, he didn't know nothing." I just love that scene when he that line. He goes, after he tells that real heartfelt story about his daddy being like cheated and how talented his daddy was, and then how they killed him. He's like, he unrolls all those. These was my daddy's tools.
That's cool to me. I like that. You tell it well.